and welcome back to our Beyond the Den podcast. I'm here with Alex and Sarah. My name is Caroline, and we have another special guest with us. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I am the captain for the Smash Ultimate team with the Honey Badgers, right? I play TFT, I play Valorant. I enjoy playing a lot of isometric RPG games and solo story games. So that's a little background about me, and I'm a senior in the College of Science under the Department of Biology. So
How do you do it? How do you do all of it?
I don't. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, I really think that it's in part time management and the fact that my hobbies and the things that I enjoy doing are just things that line up with what I enjoy working with. So for me, I guess in a way I kind of eliminate that aspect of I have hobbies that I need more time outside of what I already like doing. So I have more time I can dedicate because it falls within that umbrella of everything I work with and everything that I love doing all together wrapped in one.
That's a great example of like when people tell you like follow your dreams and like do what you like doing and it doesn't feel like work. So that's a really good example of that.
Thank you.
I'm thinking, what game do you play the most since you dedicate all this time?
If you had asked me 3 months ago, the answer would have been completely different. Right now I play a lot of Osu. I actually just ordered a drawing tablet, and for those that don't know, Osu is a rhythm game. So I've unfortunately been putting in a lot of time towards that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Something funny to mention is Kaylee is notorious for her very strange sleep schedule.
Yes.
Go through your normal day, like with us. Like, what do you normally do on a normal day?
So for me, I consider my normal day to start at 11 to 12 p.m. That's when I wake up. And then I just continue working until usually 8 in the morning. And depending on how like my day looks, if I have meetings or not, I'll either gauge whether I can go like take a nap and wait between my next meeting or if I'm just gonna stay up. Usually I just stay up. And then around 3 p.m. ish is when I kind of slow down. And I usually take a nap around then, or well, I guess not a nap, I sleep. Um, and usually through the day, I'm doing a combination of online classes, going to meetings, doing some work, playing some OSU, because unfortunately I don't have like too much time to put into like long games. So I like doing short bursts of like breaks.
Is that what you call it? Because your anger doesn't seem like short bursts. It seems more like you rage quit the game and then get to something else.
You're not wrong, but you are wrong. I say every time I get off from Osu, I'm like, I'm never playing this game again. I'm never touching it. It's horrible. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm back playing. And then the cycle just repeats over and over. Some days I can play for hours at an end. Some days I play like 3 minutes and then I quit.
So you said it's a rhythm game, but you talked about ordering a tablet. Like how do you play the game or what exactly is it?
So basically, you have these maps, right, that have these sliders and these like beats that you aim with your mouse to hit. And initially, you can use your keyboard to tap on rhythm while you aim with your mouse. But when you get to a certain threshold when playing the game, the rhythm starts getting really fast and the jumps start going really far between the beats. So I could be hitting something in the corner of my monitor, and then the next beat will be right here and it'll be instantaneous. So by using a drawing tablet, right, you are able to more accurately and more quickly aim when you're playing versus using a mouse where it's not as natural because you're aiming with your wrist versus aiming with a pen.
I need to watch some gameplay of that because that sounds impossible to me.
It is actually fun, but it just hurts your hand after a while.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with that. Some people get they mess with their tendons if they're playing incorrectly, so they'll end up getting wrist pain or they'll just stretch them out.
Carpal tunnel.
And yeah, carpal tunnel, yeah, that too. So it's just you just have to be careful with how much you play and building up your stamina to make sure you're not hurting yourself.
Gotcha. Low key, when you said a rhythm game, I thought of the Meat Beat game from Steven Universe.
I've never played it. How is that?
No, it's not. It's like it's from It's Steven Universe, the cartoon. Like they just like Garnet was like hitting the beats with the like shaking them to the beats. I just think about that. I just thought about that, and
It's pretty much the same concept. I mean, that's pretty much Osu, I guess, in a different context.
well, gotta go play it now.
Let me know if you get into it.
I'll rage quit.
Is there a world in which there's like competitive Osu, like esports style competitive?
There is actually competitive Osu. Competitive Osu is it's something else. Like when you watch some of the best players for Osu, right? The accuracy at which you have to aim the pen and click the rhythm of the notes while you're moving, right? There's a thing called streaming, and basically when you're streaming is when you're following a pattern, but you're continuously tapping at around 200 to 300 beats per minute with your fingers. And you're following this pattern, and if you mess up halfway through, your stream breaks, right? Because you're not hitting it on the rhythm. And some people when they play competitively, it's just so incredible seeing that actually happen with like they have cameras trained at their hands so you can track it. Competitive Osu is an entire different world from like casually playing Osu, I guess, which is it's just so interesting.
That sounds intense and scary.
You're not wrong. It's a combination of both.
And let's see, from what we all recall, just a couple minutes before we started podcast, your birthday was yesterday.
Yes, my birthday was yesterday.
Well,
Thank you.
happy late birthday. And how did you celebrate that? Now, I know normally, because you and I talk outside of the podcast and outside of Honey Badgers, I know normally you go volunteer a lot on your birthday specifically. But what did you do this time because of Corona?
Well, this time we just had something really small at home, I had a cake. It was just really a regular day, I guess, in a sense.
So you were forced to actually relax for once out of your
Yes,
busy schedule.
unfortunately, I really miss volunteering at the planetarium because for 3 years or so, every time I go to the planetarium, it's kind of a tradition that I'll be there on my birthday and I'll show up, I'll open into the office, I'll settle down, and then they'll bring out this little, this nice cake and they'll sing me happy birthday. And it's really different, I guess, not celebrating it with that family that I have because they're people that I've known for a while.
That's so cool.
That is super cool. When you volunteer at the planetarium, what do you do?
We have a bevy of tasks, but essentially, we always need someone to be at the door greeting people, directing them to the ticket booth. We need someone actually at the ticket booth giving out tickets and keeping track since we have a limited amount of spots. We need someone in charge of online reservations since we do offer like 100 of our tickets being online and 20 being in person. We need someone to watch the planetarium inside while people are coming in. We have ushers during the entire show because it's extremely dark in there. So we have flashlights that if you need to go to the restroom or you need to step outside to take a phone call, we will use our flashlights to escort you out safely and bring you back in to your spot. And we also have someone in charge of messing around with the exhibits, making sure they're up to age since the planetarium was built in 1969. Some of the exhibits are incredibly old and whatnot, but we also have someone in the back usually at the beginning of the show because our manager gives the show. But during the show, there's someone that needs to be managing the audio levels, the lighting, so all of that stuff. It's a lot of work, surprisingly.
That does sound like a lot of work.
It's
Sounds like a lot.
incredibly fulfilling.
So you just finished summer classes. How did summer classes go? And are you ready for the fall semester with all the new changes coming?
Actually, I have my final today, so I need to go ahead and take that later on. But honestly, if there's something that I learned about summer classes over the summer, it's that I really enjoy, I guess, those like very short bursts of stamina like classes where they try to cram everything into one versus like really spread out classes. I'm someone who can work in like really high bursts of energy to get things done. But when you ask me to like spread things out over like, a great time period, it's just like my plans fall apart, my time, management skills kind of suck because I always keep like thinking, it's like 3 months from now, it's fine. But in regards to the fall classes, I'm I'm excited to see how it will turn out. I'm taking upper division electives now versus me trying to get over some pre-requirements I needed to move up. So I'm interested to see, what I'm going to learn, how I'm going to be able to apply it. So I guess I'm just waiting to see what the future holds.
No.
Can you tell us what your awesome career aspirations are? Because we already know, but tell the people of the world. Because I think
Sure.
it's so cool.
Ultimately, I'd like to work as a cardiovascular perfusionist. And basically, the role of that job is that when you're in the OR room, the best way that it was explained to me was, so let's say that you need heart surgery, you need a heart transplant, right? So there's a fresh heart in a cooler waiting, right? You're on the table, your heart's in the garbage because they're not going to use it anymore. And if you're laying on the table with no heart, what does that mean? What's happening to you? And the answer is technically you're not really living because you don't have blood circulating through your system. A cardiovascular perfusionist is in charge of acting as the heart and lungs during surgery so that blood continues to circulate through your body so nothing is dying and your brain isn't, passing away while they put the heart back in and get things going.
That's insane.
What got you into that idea? Like, how'd you get there?
It's actually kind of a funny story. It was like 3 in the morning. I was in high school and I was looking on Reddit. What are the best professions that you can get into? And it was this thread, right? And I was just scrolling infinitely and I saw someone mention it, cardiovascular perfusion. They were like, it's an incredibly small field. There's only very few schools in the US. There's not a lot of them. They need perfusionists. And obviously, they mentioned something that really caught my eye. And that's that the current generation of perfusionists, we're all going to retire within the next 10 years because that's when the field really hit a boom. So basically, it's a field that needs a lot of people that not a lot of people are going into. That is also related to medical health. So it just fit all the criteria of things I was interested in.
Oh, that's fascinating. Gotta love Reddit.
Yeah.
How much longer do you have in school for that?
So I'm altering my plans a little bit to graduate with my bachelor's. I graduate fall 21. I'm planning on doing fast track and getting my master's in biology before I go off to perfusion school. So give or take, I'll graduate spring 23 maybe, and then after that to get my master's in cardiovascular perfusion, it's like a 2.5 year program. So I have about give or take 5 years left in school.
For your 2 year study, is that with UTEP or with someone else?
For perfusion?
Yeah. You said you have
Unfortunately,
up until 2023, and then you have a 2-year program. So is that 2-year program something that UTEP offers, or you have to go to another special school for that?
unfortunately, there's only like 15 schools in the United States that offer it. It's a very specific program, so I'm gonna have to go off out of state even, because in state only 2 schools offer it, and most of the schools that do offer it are on the East Coast.
Okay, I had to picture that in my head. I forgot which was east.
I know that I think it looks like I'm pointing west on the camera. I'm not sure.
You gotta do the never eat sour watermelons thing.
What? Wait, what is that?
Yeah, like
You know,
above
it's an acronym.
Never eat. Oh no.
never eat sour watermelons. Every time I'm like north, south, east, west, watermelons, okay.
Same, but I use never eat sour wheat.
Sour wheat?
Yeah.
What?
Is sour wheat even a
Why
thing?
we use wheat is because it sounds close to Weast, and you know, like
Weast and SpongeBob.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
And
I was like, what?
embarrassing facts about Caroline.
I think anybody can use like a SpongeBob reference just to like throw it in a random conversation and it'll work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think the only one that did not work for me was I ran a blank. Wow.
Well,
Oh yeah, one of them didn't work for me because in the conversation, the person I was talking to had never seen SpongeBob, and then I ridiculed them for not having a childhood. But besides that,
Wow.
98% of the time, SpongeBob references in that one.
Love my SpongeBob references.
Carla
had
says they
never
said
heard.
never eat sour worms. Why? Who would eat? Okay, never mind. I think the worms part just eliminates it. Like, why are normal worms okay?
Just never eat worms.
Yeah, never eat worms. That's the worst shit. It just
Never
ended.
eat wiggly worms.
Yeah. I'd actually never heard that before. I don't know if it's because I didn't get to like school until 2nd grade in the US here, but I had never, until you mentioned it, I had never heard of like never eat sour worms or just anything like with that acronym.
I was actually taught that in like world geography. I kept messing up east and west, and my professors were like, "Why don't you just never eat sour watermelons, whatever?" And I was just like, "What? that works? Like that actually works."
That's one of the things that I took from, I don't know, like elementary school, along with did they teach you guys, because I know you're a little bit younger than me, but did they teach you the touch math where like every digit has like points on the actual like, so like if you have the number 4, you can, Mike knows what I'm talking about. It's called touch math, where you count like on the number 4 has 4 corners, and then you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you touch your pen to the paper.
What?
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh my god! Look
Everybody
at
in the podcast is just watching all of us just like mess with our hands and
You
stuff.
know, like
Make
Don't even know what we're doing.
squares.
yeah, it's like when you're counting, and then the 5 has those 4 points plus the like bottom of the 5 is the 5th point. You have to like pretend you're looking at an actual number, like the number 5. Come on, y'all.
Okay, I understand part of it. I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it a little bit.
I use that till this very day. I use it all the time.
I get it now. I get it now.
I get it.
How does 5 do it?
I'm counting.
So 1, 2. I'm gonna do it. So 1, 2. I'm doing it backwards so you guys see the 5. So 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4.
4. No, 4 is the 4th point, and then 5 is the little like round bottom. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like your theory worked
I
up
found
until
it.
that.
Okay.
And how do you do 8?
It's like 4, but you just double touch it.
Okay, what about 7?
7 is you do 3 on the side and then 1 on the. Look. Let me save this. And I'll put it in the chat, guys.
How are they teaching this in schools? This is even advanced for me. What?
Well, I was in elementary school like over 15 years ago? Over 15 years ago. Okay, I just downloaded this image. I really want you guys to see this. It will change your life. Oh no, where is it? It's not in my downloads.
I'm thinking.
Damn, I'm so lost.
The way I learn my
How do you do
numbers was like
6?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like 6, like.
Aha. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
okay.
I'm sorry, podcast people listening, but just look it
1,
up.
2, 3, 4.
Okay, I saw the
5.
3.
See, 6 looks weird to me.
I understood the 5.
That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense.
That
The
doesn't
6
add up.
divided by 8 don't get me. Yeah.
I'm no mathematician, but that don't add up.
Dude, yeah. So, okay, just the regular nodes is 1 tap. And then the
Right.
nodes with like a ring on top of it is 2 taps.
Right. Then 3 is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4, 5. 6 doesn't make sense.
How do you remember
Yes,
that?
it does. It's 1, 2, 3. I don't know. It's just ingrained in my head.
I remember like in Mexico, they just made us like write like our numbers down like 100 times. And the same with our multiplication tables. And if you didn't get it by the end of it, like you did more and more until like it's stuck in there. Like
I'm relating to that 100% right now.
I cannot add by just looking. I have to do the touch math.
I forgot what it was, but like someone tried showing me how you do the multiples of 9 with your hands, and I like never understood it.
Oh yeah.
I don't get it. Like it also was like 3 times 9. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then you brought down the finger, and then it's like you got 27. Like I understand it now, but it took me like a week to learn it. And I learned this like last year. Like I barely understood it then. I couldn't grasp it. I'm like, why are you not looking at that one finger? And they're like, just cancel it out. I'm like, why? I'm like, it's supposed to be there. It took me forever. As a kid, I never understood it. I just memorized them. The whole thing was that you just kept writing, like Kaylee, you just kept writing them down till you memorized them.
yeah.
So when someone showed me that finger trick, I just did not get it, and I could not comprehend it.
Man. It was just 10 minus 1 for me, you know? 9 plus 10, 19 minus 1.
Oh,
And-
whoa. Hello.
What?
Mine was always like they add up to 9. So like the first one is 9, and then it's like 8. Then it's 18. 8 plus 1 is 9, and then 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. So you always took 1 minus whatever the number was. You're multiplying by 3. So 9 times 3, it's 3. Minus 1 is 2, and then whatever adds up to 9.
I was that kid when the going got rough. I just put my hands under the tables and I started counting. That never failed me. If things just got too difficult, I just like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, no shame. I still count on my fingers. I literally cannot memorize. Like, I can't count in my head. I can't.
See, here's the thing. I struggle with math in the sense that when I was supposed to subtract as a kid, I wouldn't subtract. Like, I'd be like, okay, this is the smaller number. How many more places do I need to go to get to that number? So I would like try to add up to that number. Like for some reason I couldn't subtract. It was weird. To this day, I do it with like change. Like if they're like, oh, it's 10 something, and I give them like $12, I'm like, okay, for 10 something, how much more money do I need to get at 12? Like for some reason, I do that way faster without having to like carry the 1, bring it down, bring the remainder over. I just can't.
That's so interesting. We all have our own like kind of different ways that we learned like the same stuff, right? At the end of the day, we're learning 9s. But it's just so interesting hearing how we all had different experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's since we carried all our way up to math, I think we should end it here. We thoroughly have confused and entertained our listeners. But with that, thank you so much for joining us, Kaylee. And
No problem. My pleasure.
we will see everyone next podcast.
What are our socials, Caroline?
You know where to find us at EP Honey Badgers on Facebook and Insta, or at EP_Honey Badgers on Twitter. Follow us on Twitch, and if you found us on Twitch or YouTube, there's our social medias to the next one. And don't forget to join our Discord.
And remember,
Honey Badgers
don't give up.
Beyond the Den.